Hi everyone. We're live in Parliament Square. I'll switch the camera over in a minute. I'm with John Rees, the organiser of this event. John, you're from the Don't Extradite Assange campaign. 12 o'clock, big campaign here in Parliament Square in central London. And can you tell me the significance of those three statues over there? I'm just going to switch the camera around so everyone can see. One second, if I double tap.
Well, this is a very famous piece of artwork by Davide Domino of Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning and Edward Snowden. And it's called Anything to Say because, as you can see, they're each on a chair, standing on a chair, and there's one spare chair at the end, which is the chair that we want the public to take to stand with Julian Assange, especially.
You go over and stand on it now. Stand on it for me. So it's pretty powerful. It's a pretty powerful image.
Yeah, it is a very powerful image, and it's a magnificent piece of artwork, but it's also a magnificent piece of political propaganda, and it couldn't be more urgent because Julian Assange is now in the 11th hour of his case in the English courts. Unless there's a change of decision, he will be extradited to the United States. He may well face 175 years in jail for journalism, and that will be a very dark shadow, a very long shadow cast over every single member of the press and every single journalist.
Why have you come along? What does this mean to you? Why is a free press, free speech important?
Well, it's exceptionally important all around the world. I mean, when governments are trying to suppress the truth around the world, that sends a very, very dangerous message and signal to us all that there's something really bad happening. We need to know the truth. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks were set up to allow the public, the people, to know the truth. What our governments are doing in our name, with our money. That's what WikiLeaks was designed to do.
Do you think some things should be kept quiet, though?
Of course, it's a very delicate balance at times. Yes, I totally appreciate that. But when it comes to the general need for a free press, to hold our governments to account, that's just crazy. You could classify anything as secret, anything. Joe Biden today could go into McDonald's, have some lunch, and just classify that as secret. And so technically, by telling everyone what he actually had to eat, that would be breaking the law, this new law they're trying to bring in. This is the US going against their own constitution, against free press, the right to gather, the right to a free press, the right to...
I guess people, the voter might think, well, I voted for this, it was a democratically elected government, that government has made the decision, therefore I have to trust the decisions of that government to keep some information withheld.
Yes, of course.
Is that an argument? And maybe people have trusted the people they voted for?
Well, this is an information war that we are actually going through right now. It's an electronic war, it's a psychological war, and we are deep in the thick of it, or at least things could actually get even worse. There has to be a balance, but there needs to be a slightly different system, possibly. But this is what WikiLeaks tried to do. It was set up in 2006 to expose financial crime around the world, environmental crime around the world, and war crime around the world. Julian Assange did not disclose war secrets. War crimes is what he disclosed, and our governments have got a bit of a problem with that. Well, of course they will have, because if they partake in criminality, of course they want to keep it secret. And Julian Assange says no, and I say no, and millions of people around the world say no.
I'm here today because if Julian Assange is sent to America, to the horrible torture chambers, then no journalist, no publisher will be safe from their hands.
Do you think people know in this country what's happening to Julian Assange?
Many do, but I'm outside Belmarsh and Piccadilly Circus every week, and it's amazing the number of people who ask, who is Julian Assange? Because the mainstream media are useless. They do not tell the world the truth about anything. They have not told anybody about Julian Assange. It's only people that inquire and think, and
we don't call them the mainstream media anymore. We call them the old media, and I used to work for them, so don't worry about that. we're taking the media into our own hands now.
Yes. Well, hopefully, yes. And I hope it's not too late for Julian, because he definitely needs to be free. Because he's already suffered a stroke. And a man can only take so much pain and agony.
I'm an Aussie. I arrived this morning, not particularly for this, but I've been following it and getting their newsletters for years now. And I just got so excited when I realised I'd be arriving this morning and I could actually get here.
What do you think of this piece of artwork and the significance of it?
Oh, it's amazing, but my worry is how many people really know about it and how many people really care, and we were just talking about the hypocritical thing of free speech, and then when somebody does something like that, then they're, locked away for decades, it's craziness.
Is there's more support in Australia now, isn't there?
I think so, and our new Prime Minister, I think, has spoken up to Biden, and I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but they talk about him saying that they want to get him home, and so that's my hope. But I think, but again, so much. Australia's so, right, left, divided down the middle with politics as well, so I can't.
Well, I think everywhere people are getting more and more divided, which is very concerning.
Yeah. And we were just talking about America. It'll be, if he does get extradited, it'll be a real test there. What will happen and whether Biden will. It's going to be amazing. I hope he won't. I hope it'll never come to that. But
I've seen how Assange has really changed the world and society with the information that he's released.
Not for the worse.
Well, do people want to stay in the dark?
Exactly. I mean, and Snowden the other day said he doesn't regret a thing, and I think he's another hero. These whistleblowers, we've got to look after them. They're doing it for the right reasons. I believe that, these guys. I get emotional because I just think it's getting to D-Day now, and I hope that somebody's listening out there. That's all.
Thanks for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
I'm from Liverpool up north, so I've made the journey down today. It's the first opportunity I've gotten to actually come to an event such as this. I've been following it for a couple of years now. In my opinion, Julian Assange is probably the most important man in the world at the moment, because what happens to him, as Stella Assange, his wife, has said herself, happens to everybody. If someone so public, such as Julian, can be persecuted, and he's got millions of people around the world, including politicians and members of the media, although that's quite lacking, unfortunately. If they can persecute him on the public stage and put him away for 175 years, then what do you think they do to the average person that doesn't have all that publicity and the likes of statues such as this today, where you'll get hundreds, hopefully thousands of people arrive today that come and do that. Like if I, for example, ended up with similar charges for just looking at classified material that was shared on the internet, for example, I don't think anyone would come out for me, because I don't have the same status as Assange. So it's really important that people show up for the really, really public and
he's a symbol, isn't he? He's what do they call it? A deterrent. I think they're using him as a deterrent, as a message.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, as I just said, if Julian gets 175 years for espionage, then there's no reason I or the average person on the street couldn't get the same thing for lesser crimes.
Do you mind me asking how old you are, what you do, where you've come from?
I'm 27 years old, this month actually. I'm a software developer and I'm from Liverpool.
You come all the way from Liverpool today?
Yeah, obviously you heard the previous speaker. She said she come all the way from Australia, so it's not as much work for me. But yeah, as I say, it's the first opportunity I've got to come to something like this, so it's quite meaningful for me. But obviously, I'm trying to be here just individually to make up the numbers, and if everyone has the same mindset, then it could be thousands that show up. One thing I would say, if I may, is you said that Julian Assange is a symbol, which I would agree, obviously he is. But as Stella Assange has said herself, you have to remember that he's not just a symbol, he's also a man. And that can kind of get lost in all the spectacle of it. So
children.
Yeah, with children, exactly. So I'd recommend, if I could recommend anything to anybody who'd watch this, Everyone should go and watch Ithaca, the documentary that his father, his brother and his wife put a lot of
That's
time.
on ITV, isn't it?
It's currently on ITV. I think it's still on ITV.
To know why you're here, that was all. What you think? You obviously think free speech is and free press is important, and you want, and you think Assange is a symbol of that.
Yes, obviously. But he's a journalist. He shouldn't be in jail. He shouldn't be in Belmarsh. All he did was journalism. So, of course, I'm against it.
Was he a journalist? Was he a publisher?
No, he's a journalist. As far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, he won awards for journalism. So,
And do you think people have forgotten about him? I mean, this is that piece of artwork is quite stunning, isn't it?
It is. I don't know that people have forgotten about him, but it's a bit of a low turnout so far, which is a bit sad. But
Well, it started at 12. What time is it now?
10 past.
Well, that's interesting. Do you think that, the turnout should be bigger, really?
Yes, I would like that to be the case.
It is quite a low turnout, isn't it? Interestingly. All right, thank you for talking to me. Thank you.
Again?
Do you think that the reason he's in prison is it's as a deterrent to send a message to other people not to do what he did?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Why does it matter to you so much? Why does free speech, free press matter to you?
Well, around the world, a lot of there are countries they're pressing the press people, the journalists, and that shouldn't be happening. They should be let to do their own job properly, and not force them to do anything, anything silly.
For a healthy democracy, yeah. Thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.